Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shiva Sutras are a text attributed to the Ishvara Advayavad, or popularly called as the Kashmiri Shaivism. Actually, it is nothing new. The names are different. What is called as Nath Sampradaya in Maharashtra, in which we come across the Navanath stories, in which we come across Shirdi Sai Baba, Nityananda Maharaj, Datta Sampradaya, Siddha Marga, all these fall under this category. And here the basic principle is invocation of the dormant potentiality which is common to all. In this there is nothing like somebody is sinner, somebody is good, somebody is bad. No, we all have these options open by which we can invoke our infinite divine potentiality. And for that there are many techniques given, and they are grouped in 4 types. And those techniques are called as upaya. Technique means upaya. The meaning of the word upaya is, upa means near, aya gatau, that which takes you nearer to your divine self is called as upaya. So there are 4 of them. One is called as anupaya. It is not upaya at all. How it happens, nothing is known. But it happens. Therefore, there is nothing told about it. Then there is the Shambhavopaya, which is awareness predominant. Then Shaktopaya, which is knowledge predominant. And third is Anvopaya, which is both action and knowledge predominant, balance. So, first we have seen in our last sessions the Shambhavopaya. In that Shambhavopaya, we are told that first sutra was Chaitanya Atma. Now there are some seekers who are extremely subtle, pure, to such an extent that only one word is enough to ignite the fire of wisdom. Very rare are those, because they have already withdrawn from the whole world. The world means nothing to them, and they are at peace with themselves and the whole world. One example I can give you on the same path is that of Nisargadatta Maharaj from Bombay. He heard once in his lifetime, in a satsanga from the Guru Maharaj, that consciousness is the real self, Chaitanya Atma. And this much he heard, and it was enough for him. And as if some magic has happened, and he is completely withdrawn and established in the truth. So, it is said that Udyamo Bhairavaha, in this first path, this is mentioned, Udyamo Bhairavaha, one of the sutra. Udyama means the one which is emergence of, Bhairava means pure consciousness. Emergence of pure consciousness by merely listening once. It does happen. We come across many masters in this world that only once they hear and everything is over, they don't require anything to repeat it. So that was seen, and there in the second sutra we were told that if consciousness is the absolute self, where from the bondage to the consciousness has come. So we were told that the jnanam bandha, knowledge is bondage. And this one sutra, knowledge is bondage, has really changed my life. Because I heard it for the first time in the text called, written by Santa Gyaneshwar, Amrita Anubhav. And when I read there Jnanam Bandha, I was shocked so much because I have been studying all the time Rute Jnananna Muktihi. Without knowledge there is no freedom. Knowledge is necessary. And here is a great master talking, knowledge is bondage. What is this? So I was surprised, frustrated. That means all what I have been doing is wrong or what? And by God's grace, this text came in my hand from as if nowhere. I happened to go to Ganeshpuri near Bombay, where a great master lived. His name you all may be knowing. His name was Nityananda Maharaj. And I went there for darshan and everything. And somebody came and he said, Swamiji, what can I give you? The best thing I can think of giving you is this set of books. So he packed it and gave. And I said, okay, thank you. And I didn't open even because it was packed. When I went home and said, hey, what books they must have given? And I just opened this book, Shiva Sutra, and there the first sutra that opened randomly was Jnanam Bandha, that hey, I got the answer, what I was studying and searching for in one go. So Jnanam Bandha, knowledge is of two types. One knowledge is that which is creating a sense of not I-ness. One knowledge is that which is creating a sense of not I-ness. Yesterday I told you. This is a mic, I know this is a mic, and I am not the mic. So in this knowledge, I and mic, the not I, these two things are created. So that knowledge in which the Anatma Bhava is created, that knowledge creates bondage. How this knowledge creates bondage? When I look at something which is recognized as other than I, two things are possible to happen. One is, I like that, therefore I will run after that, or I don't like it, and therefore I will run away from that. There is no possibility of liking and disliking about the self, because there is no thought possible. Like I know you through the agency of eyes and mind, etc., but I know my being without the means of knowledge. This is pramana nirapeksha anubhuti. This experience is free from the means of knowledge. This is the pure knowledge called as Chaitanya Atma. And what normally we understand by the knowledge is this, I know Gita, I know Upanishads, I know yoga, and I know this thing. That is not knowledge, that is bondage. And that bondage leads to what you call is the erudition and scholarship. Such people are able to make a lot of noise, but as regards experience is concerned, they are gone. So this was said in the first chapter, and there the cause of emergence of this Udyamo Bhairavaha is, it is a sudden emergence of consciousness because the seeker is extremely pure. Now what is that experience? Udyamo Bhairavaha, realization of the self. There it is said that Etad Jagrat Adi Tritayam Sutratrayana Lakshayati Jnanam Jagrat Swapno Vikalpaha Aviviko Maya Saushuptam. So this seeker who has come to discover the conscious race as his essential nature, for him Jagrat Sushupti Swapna Sushupta Bhede Turya Bhoga Sambhavaha. Now what we were told was, when we are abiding as consciousness, then as consciousness we are the illuminator of the waking experiences along with the waker and the waking world, the dream experiences along with the dreamer and the dream world, and the deep sleep experience along with the deep sleeper and the deep sleep world of nothingness. All these three experiences are illumined by this Chaitanya Atma, and this experience is never corrupted thereafter. See, presently what happens? I live as a husband, I live as a son, I live as a father. And all these three things are supported by one common denominator called as the man. Without the man there cannot be son to the father, without the man there cannot be husband to the wife, without the man there cannot be father to the son. So, who is this I essentially? This I is essentially the man. But where we are lost? We are lost in these three things: the son, the husband and the father. See friends, now has this man become three? Man is only one. So the threeness born out of one man, is that real? Was this man a husband before marriage? Was this man a father before giving birth to the child? See friends, exactly the same way, Turya Bhoga Sambhavaha means whether waking experiences come, and in that waking experiences, I am man, woman, young, old, rich, poor, husband, wife, brother, sister, mother, father, all these things are happening, and all of them are illumined by the one denominator called as the pure consciousness. Now this wise man, Udyamo Bhairavaha, he is abiding in this pure consciousness as his essential nature. And therefore, he is illuminating the waking experiences without becoming a waker. See friends, the same thing is true with reference to the dream. The dream experiences, the dream world and the dreamer all are illumined by the waking, the same consciousness which was illuminating the waking world. See? Now if we make a statement that I had a good sleep, but in between I had bad dreams. See? Like last night, must have been piled up on my body. So last night when I went after dinner and started my laptop, something work I did and lied down on the bed, and I didn't know when I slept. See? So when I woke up in the morning, I was telling Guptaji, I had a very good sleep. Now who can make this statement? Because in the sleep, I, the waker, was not there. So when I say I had a good sleep, who makes this statement? When I say in between I had some disturbing dreams, who can make this statement? Because in the dream I was not there, the waker was not there in the dream, the waker that I am was not there in the deep sleep, yet this statement is made. So who is making this statement? then we come to know that there is one common factor which illuminates the waking, the dream, the deep sleep experiences without becoming the waker, dreamer and the deep sleeper. The man experiences the experiences of the son, the husband and the father without becoming any one of them. Because when the wife goes away by God's grace, what happens to the husband? Nothing. Because he is nowhere. But then who is miserable? This non-existing husband is miserable. When the father dies, what happens to the son? Nothing happens to him because he never existed. So this non-existing son, he becomes miserable. The man continues to be. In short, the one man, on account of the different conditionings, is referred as many. So the manyness is superimposed on one absolute. That one absolute is our essential nature. See? Turya abhoga sambhavaha. See, friends, when we thus lead our life, although through the conditionings and yet not getting influenced by any conditioning, then we are living as pure consciousness. And unless we come to discover this as our essential nature, we keep on struggling. So, he has the same experience, waking, dream, deep sleep, yet he is no more separated from his essential nature. Now, in this manner, when the seeker has discovered this, that he is the pure conscious reality expressing as the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Now tell me, what sadhana will you do? When you are in front of your father, what sadhana will you do to say that you are first a man, then a son? When you are in front of your wife, what sadhana will you do? That you are a man first, then the husband. What sadhana we will do when we are in front of the son and say that you are the man first and father next? It is only an error of focal length. That's all. Now see this way. You are hearing my words, sounds. So where are you? You are in your ears. When there is a silence, silence cannot be heard by the ears. Ears can hear only the sounds. But we do experience the silence. So, who are we? The hearer of the sounds or the non-hearer of the sounds? Who are we? So we are beyond both. Whether there is sound or there is silence, we remain untouched by both the sounds and the silence. It doesn't take even a fraction of 1/1,000,000th of a second. Then why this doesn't happen? Because we are too much preoccupied with the objective world in our life. That is why this seeker, Udyamo Bhairavaha, is so pure. In one go, he is able to catch it. And it is so difficult to explain to anyone else how will you explain that which is beyond the scope of words? Because words can explain that which has got qualities. It is red, green, yellow, brown. It has got sound, it is melodious, it is not melodious. A touch, it is soft, it is hard. It is hot, it is cold. Taste, it is tasty, it is salty, it is sweet. Gandha, it is fragrance, it is dirty smell. When all these attributes are not there, how can the speech talk? See? So that which is supporting even the absence is beyond the presence and absence. And such a master, he lives like any one of us, but he is no more influenced by the different experiences that come and go in him. Be attentive. He doesn't go through the experiences. The experiences come and go. See, like the clouds come and go from the space. The space doesn't go in the clouds. In the same manner, the conscious space that we are, Chaitanya Atma, in that conscious space, the three clouds of waking, dream and deep sleep, they come and go. When the waking clouds come, they thunder and they rain, both. When the dream clouds come in the conscious space, they only make noise, they don't rain. And when it is a dark night, no clouds or yes clouds, nothing is known because of darkness, it is a deep sleep cloud. So when these three clouds come and go, nothing happens to the conscious space. Be attentive. The waker is born after gross body identification. Who suffers in this world? The dreamer is born after identification with the modifications of the mind. The deep sleeper is born after identification with the absence of this waker and the dreamer. See? So who is this Chaitanya Atma? Is someone who is supporting the waking world along with the waker without becoming a waker, supporting the dream world along with the dreamer without becoming a dreamer, supporting the deep sleep, supporting the deep sleeper without going to sleep. That eternal, undivided, continuous, unending, unmodifying presence is Chaitanya Atma. He who is thus abiding in this absolute reality, Tritaya Bhokta Vireshaha. See, then what happens? He is the master of all his sense organs. Because he is no more living at the level of the sense organs. For us what happens? While we take food, for example, I want achar, I want chutney. If it is not there, okay, give green chili at least. See? So we are the slaves to the sense organs. This great master, he is not enslaved by any object. Be attentive. What is the net result that happens? That result is we are withdrawn from the objective world and we have come closer to our own real being relatively. Now to understand this point, do this experiment. You can see the backdrop behind me and try to feel where you are. You are away from yourself. Now try to see your own eyes by your own eyes. So, the vision disappears and we come closer to ourselves. So when it is said he is a master of sense organs, etc., means he is now fully withdrawn from the objective world. And what is called in Patanjali Yoga Darshan as pratyahar. Pratyahar, ahar means to eat. Pratyahar means not to eat. Upavas. So let there be objective world around us, and we are no more influenced by, touched by any of the object in the world. If we are influenced, we have comments. If there is too much of noise, oh God, why so much of noise? Influenced by the noise. If there is absolute peace, aha, what a peaceful place. And when you are not influenced, then you transcend beyond them. That is why Bhagavan says, Tasmat tvam indriyani ado niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahihena jnana vijnana nachana. Therefore, the first spiritual practice is have full control over your sense organs. Now, when we have control on the sense organs with this understanding, that when we control the sense organ, we are necessarily coming back home. But when we are the slaves of our sense organs, we are getting lost in this world. Such people are extremely obsessed. They want everything in this world according to what they say is right. Everybody is wrong, what I say is right. See? In many houses, this is one of the biggest problems. The elderly person, normally the Hitler father, he is such a obsessed person. He dictates everything in the house. The children, when they are growing, they have no choice. But slowly, they start revolting inside them. And when they are grown up, they don't want any kind of relation with them. The reason is, during the childhood, this person was so obsessed, obstinate. Because there is no spiritual strength or spiritual background. See, friends, we come across so many places, so many people. This happened in US. One of my friend, now that boy is married, has children also. When he was small, his father was very strong person. You have to do puja, you have to chant the mantra, you have to chant the Guru Sutra, you have to read Bhagavad Gita. Compulsory, no choice. And the child was revolting inside. When he became 18, 19 years of age, major, minor has gone, then one day he came drunk, smoking, and his father saw him and wanted to give him one on his face. He was so strong, that boy. He held his father's hand and said, "Dad, enough is enough. I'll uproot your hand and give you another hand." and wait this side. When this happened in front of me, so I immediately changed the topic. I said, hey, do you take sugar in the tea or not? I was preparing tea. This is one of the spiritual practice. Try to change the topic instantaneously. Don't linger on the same topic for long. Otherwise, why this happened, don't bother about it. Change the topic. Then, next day, that son phoned me. He said, Swamiji, you must have seen why I have done like that. I said, no, I have seen, but there must be some reason. I have nothing to say. He said, no, but I want to tell you. Okay, tell. He said, my dad, you know, he's a demon, he is Hitler. And he has destroyed my childhood. And I just want to do the things which will hurt him. I don't smoke, I don't drink. But just to see, show him that, I can do it. Now what you can do it. This is, obsession. Because we are taking this world so real. We are slaves of our sense organs. We are slaves of our organs of action. See, friends, therefore, when the wise man, living as consciousness, Chaitanya Atma, Tritaya Bhokta Vireshaha, he goes through the experiences of the waking, dream and deep sleep, but he never compromises on this truth that he is essentially the substratum of the waking experiences along with the waker and the waking world, but he is none of them. See, friends, abide in this truth. Tritaya Bhokta Vireshaha. That is the real victory in life, not what is your winning over. Winning over your own faculties. And this experience is Vismayo Yoga Bhumika. Now this is Yoga Bhumika, it is a wonder of all wonders that this experience is. It cannot be spoken of in any words. Because Vismaya means that which doesn't fall in the purview of logic. Vismaya. Like wonder. Oh, what a wonder. Why? Because you can't explain it in any way. After this wise man is now, he is one with the Ichcha Shakti. See, we told you earlier, the Paramatma, the Supreme Conscious Reality, has its own potentiality in three ways. One is Ichcha Shakti, second is Jnana Shakti, third is Kriya Shakti. Ichcha Shakti is the power to desire. Whatever this master desires, that happens. We desire and nothing happens. Because we are not one with the absolute truth. We are with the limited being, the body, etc. And therefore our desires are important. So Ichcha Shakti Kumari, the desire power, then the knowledge, and then the Kriya, the action. So Ichcha Shakti Kumari, he is now one with the divine potentiality to its fullest extent. And as a result, he is able to create many wonders in his life. Therefore, in his life, Drishyam Shariram, everything is nothing but his own place of residence. For him, there is no place which is new to him. Because Drishyam Shariram, he has discovered he is the substratum of everything. See, we have come across many Mahatmas. In Varanasi, there used to be one Mahatma, he is no more. His name was Swami Vishuddhananda, walking the same path, Kundalini awakening. He was a great master, and he was called also a Sugandhi Baba. He could create any smell, anytime, anywhere. Suppose you give him this, marigold flower in his hand, And while talking, he said, "Hey, what flower you gave me?" "Sir, I gave you marigold." "No, you gave me a rose flower." See, the same flower which was kept in his hand as a marigold, in front of your eyes, the same flower starts appearing as the rose. All these divine potentialities start happening. But then what happens? We get lost in this. See, therefore these siddhis are basically an obstacle. They are not something great. But all the places you will come across, that if somebody is a saint, then what are the miracles he has performed, then he is a saint. So, this is getting lost only in the relative world. Whether you are a poor person or you are a rich person, if you are in India, you are Indian. In the same manner, whether you are slaves to the sense organs or you are a master to the sense organs, you are still holding on to the sense organs. So one has to transcend even the siddhis. Otherwise, we get lost only in the siddhis. See, friends. Therefore, although he has all the powers, and the powers come because drishyam shariram, he is able to control the whole world through his Ichcha Shakti, and in that control he is able to experience Hridaya Chitta Sangatta Drishya Swapa Darshanam. Therefore, he is able to understand the secret of everything in this world. And with that understanding, he is able to discover many potentialities which were earlier dormant in him. He is no more a slave to the matter. And then his understanding about the self is that he is now the overall controller of the whole world. Be attentive. Overall controller of the whole world means he is still holding on to the world. See, whether you are a citizen with one vote or you are a prime minister with all the votes at your disposal, you are still Indian. You have not transcended the limitations of being an Indian. See, therefore, this also continues to be the bondage, and in this, although he experiences supreme happiness than any other average person, yet he is still holding on to this world, and this is not the ultimate that is expected on the spiritual path. This is how, with the first sutra, we came toward the end of the sutra. Maharadhanu sandhanat mantra viryanubhavaha. So when this great master, who has got all the powers, etc., by uniting with the pure consciousness, he is able to impart power in any mantra that he gives. Be attentive. This is a very subtle point. From here the next sutra starts. Next chapter starts. See, the words, if they carry the meaning, then those words are powerful. If the words do not carry the meaning, they are noise. See? Like yesterday, we were talking in Hindi. Now those people who do not understand Hindi, for them it was a noise. It makes no difference. Because words without meaning is a noise. Now apply this principle. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam, Purvarugamiyo Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamvatat, Om Bhurvusvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Only mantra. What is the meaning? Then what is this noise? See friends, mantra viryanubhavaha. The wise man, he has been one with the pure consciousness, and therefore his words carry the meaning. This is the meaning. So this must be our experience. You also must have experience. When certain places we go to listen, that listening makes an impact on our heart. Some places we go, and that listening is without any impact. It is only a noise. See? Like you take any music, for example, any music, any song, as much impact it makes first, second, third time, as the time passes, it becomes dull and void. There is no impact. Because there is no meaning left in that particular word or the mantra. So here the teacher is explaining that he is able to Maharadhanusandhanat mantra viryanubhavaha, he is able to give or introduce the power in the mantra which is initiated by him. That is why many masters, they give this mantra by this mantra power, mantra shakti. And with this, we have completed the summary of the first chapter of this Shiva Sutra. Now see, in this, there is no hodgepodge here and there. There is nothing like this and a word like that, why the people are like that, why don't worry about it. Focus attention on the truth. Then we come in the second sutra, and the first sutra is Chittam Mantraha. In every religion, the mantra or chanting the mantra, Japamala, is a common factor in every religion. They will be giving the mantra to the disciples, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So, this is Chittam Mantraha. Now be very attentive. It's a very subtle topic. Pure consciousness remains dormant and unexplored as Parashakti in the Mooladhara Chakra. Now this place, this consciousness is existing as Parashakti or Paravani. Word is a tremendous power, more powerful than the atom bombs. So Parashakti, Paravani is at the Mooladhara. Then when this is ready to manifest, but not yet manifest, then that same Parashakti is now called as the Pashyanti Vani at the Mooladhara, at the Manipur Chakra, which is behind the umbilicus, on the spine. These are all psychic centers. You cannot see them like we can see the vertebra, we can see the spinal cord. In the same manner, these chakras are psychic centers which cannot be seen. Like, when the person is being operated, so when he is operated, the doctors cannot see where is the mind. It is a psychic center. So, the base is Mooladhara, where it is Paravani, one with the Absolute. Then, the ready to manifest position is the Pashyanti Vani, where the word and the thought about the word and the object, they are not yet separated. They are undivided whole in the Pashyanti Vani, ready to manifest but not yet manifested. Then the same Pashyanti Vani becomes grosser and comes at the Vishuddha Chakra, the throat, where it is called as the Madhyama Vani. And in this Madhyama Vani, both the object and the word or the thought indicating the object, both are only thoughts. Like, you think about, or like, we talk to ourselves. See, when I go from here, I'll take my car and I hope there is no traffic on the road. So, both car is a thought, object is a thought, road is a thought, object is a thought. So, we are only in the mental space wherein everything is only thought. There is no solid object. Like, suppose you lift in your mind that Hanumanji lifted that Dronagiri mountain. You can do that in the dream or in your mind. But in the gross world, forget about Dronagiri, even you can't lift your suitcase. Because there, the object and the word indicating the object, they are separate. So these are the 4 stages through which the knowledge travels. Chaitanya, Atma, absolute reality. The process of manifestation in the human body begins at the Paravani. Paravani is nothing but the divine potentiality. And this Paravani is ready to manifest Pashyanti, subtle manifest, not fully manifest, Madhyama Vani. And when it is fully manifest, completely grossified, then Vaikhari Vani, and in Vaikhari Vani, the object and the word indicating the object are separate. Like in Vaikhari Vani, when I say a book, book is the word, and what is in my hand is the object. So these are the 4 experiences we go through. See? Now normally the people in the waking world, they are using, be attentive, they are using only the Vaikhari Vani. And in this Vaikhari Vani, the differences are taken as real. See? And therefore, in the waking world, when we are identified with the gross body, waking world is taken as real, and in the waking world, we talk only on differences. And when we talk only on differences, we are bound to get lost in the quarrels and fighting, etc. See? Get this point very clear. So, Paramatma is divine potentiality, consciousness. Consciousness, the point of manifestation is the Paravani at the Mooladhara. Then, ready to manifest but not yet manifested is the Pashyanti. Then the 3rd stage, manifest but very subtle manifestation, not gross, that is the Madhyama Vani. And now the knowledge is fully manifest in the form of the world, where the words and the object indicated by the words is totally separate from each other. See? Now if we do not know the meaning of the word, what happens? See? Like, sometime I am doing somewhere and I tell somebody who wants to help you, say, okay, get my remote control from there. Now that person goes there, other room, remote control, which is remote control, I don't know. Now there is no remote control. Why there is no remote control? It is there. No, I have seen everywhere. Then I had to get up and say, this is the remote. Oh, this is remote control. Therefore what happened? The word remote control and the object remote control, that person was not able to synchronize. Therefore knowledge doesn't happen. So in the waking world, object and the word are separate. In the Madhyama Vani dream world, object and the words are only thoughts. In Pashyanti Vani, they are not yet differentiated, and therefore be attentive. Therefore, the wise people living in the Pashyanti Vani, whatever they say, that happens. The reason is this. Because in Pashyanti Vani, like if you take this tripod of my camera, all the three legs are united with each other. Their base is one. So if I pull one leg, other two are automatically pulled. In the same manner, the great masters living at this Pashyanti Vani, whatever thought erupts in their mind, that object appears. Because thoughts and objects are not separate. They are one and the same. This is the secret of all the siddhis. And therefore, what will be the spiritual practice? Discard the gross world along the gross words. Come to the Madhyama Vani, where the object and the words are only thoughts. And from here we continue our journey. We drop the objects. When the objects are dropped, the thoughts referring to that object also dissolves. And where do they go? They go to the Pashyanti Vani. Now in the Pashyanti Vani, the thought and the object are united together. And therefore, mantra virya, the power of the mantra is because of this. Chittam mantraha. If we are able to understand this principle, when the meaning of the word, any word, is deducted to the pure I, the absolute self, then the mantra sadhana is complete. Otherwise it is only a noise. Ram, 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 Ram. Like, some kind of, the flies are moving around. It has no impact. See? So, this mantra, chittam mantraha, what is happening is, the chitta, the mind itself, is the meaning of the mantra. See, friends, when I look at a person and see him as a good or a bad person, where is that good and the bad thing is seen? Not in that person, in our own mind. See? And if the mind sees that person, but there is no comment, no nothing, then the mind is like the mirror. Everything is reflected, but nothing is rejected or retained in the mind. So, every word will bring us back to the pure consciousness that we are, because chitta is nothing but consciousness. When the objectivity is removed from the mind, the objectless awareness, what J. Krishnamurti used to use is this, Chittam Mantraha. Now one example I'll give you to make this point. If somebody's name is, let us say, Purushottam, you ask his wife, do you know Purushottam? Of course, he is my husband. What is there to know about him? So the meaning of the Purushottam is husband. Then you ask the son of Mr. Purushottam, do you know Purushottam? Hitler, I know. I don't want to elaborate further. Okay. Then you ask the brother of Mr. Purushottam, do you know Purushottam? He is my elder brother. Word is the same, three meanings have come out. You are the fourth person who is a grammarian. See? Do you know Purushottam? Yes, Purushottam is Uttam Purusha. Uttam Purusha means the I, singular. This, the first person singular, I is Purushottama. See the different meanings. And then you ask the person whose name is Purushottam, do you know Purushottam? Me, I am Purushottam. In the same manner, when the meaning of the mantra brings us back to our own being, then that mantra sadhana is complete. Chittam mantraha. See, friends. But for us, Ram, Ram, we keep that God away from us. Let Him manifest in your heart as your own being. Like yesterday I explained you, on the spiritual path, knowing is being. Don't push the God away from you. That Lakshmi Mata is not outside anywhere. It is in your heart. See her presence, feel her presence. See, one of the mantras in the Devi Shaptashati, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Chetanetya Vidhiyate Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. That Devi which is Chetana in all the beings, to that Chetana our salutations. Therefore, Chittam Mantraha, when the meaning of the word, when the meaning of the mantra can be culminated into pure consciousness, then only that mantra sadhana is meaningful, not otherwise. Otherwise it remains only a noise, and a noise will never lead us anywhere. Therefore, this Chitta, Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes, Chittam Chitcha Vijaniya Takara Rahitam Yada Takaro Vishayadhyasaha Japa Ragau Yatha Manau. Chittam Chitcha Vijaniyat. Chitta is essentially Chit. How the Chitta and the Chit is written, those who know Sanskrit or Hindi, Chitta we write Chi Rasva Matra and half Ta and full Ta, Chitta. CHI double TA, Chitta. One Ta, half, other Ta, full. Chittam Chitcha Vijaniya. When we remove the Ta, the full Ta from Chitta, what remains? Only Chit. And what is the full Ta? Takaro Vishayadhyasaha. The Ta in the Chitta is objectification, which is an illusion. See, Vishayadhyasaha. Adhyasa means an illusion. See, friends, illusion is that which appears but which is not. See, for example, if you are sitting in a car and the car is running and your attention is on the road, white lines, what will be your experience? That the road is running in the opposite direction. It is experience. But is it happening? No. In the same manner, this objectivity in the world, it appears but it doesn't exist. See, it is something like this. This I realized, earlier it was only a word. After that, one day, God's grace, I was somewhere, one of my friend had a very peculiar kind of, industry, he took me there. Jabardasti. under force. I never wanted to go, but I was tired. So when I reached there, then I was happy to see that. He took me in one hall where there were about 10-15 machines making too much of noise. And all of them together, as if my head will blow off. So I said, hey, very good, let's go out. He said, no, I want to explain you. And he made me stay there 3-4 minutes, so much of noise you can't even hear. And everybody was very comfortably working. So I said, now if you don't allow me, I'll push you and go out. I came out. I said, oh God, what a noise. He said, Swamiji, my workers are working there on the machines for 8 hours a day. I said, poor fellows, I feel pity for them. For food, anybody has to do anything. He said, no, all of them are deaf. Imagine, all the workers he has employed in that section, they were deaf, they can't hear anything. That day it clicked really. Where are the sounds? Sounds are in our hearing ability. For the blind person, there are no colors and forms. So where is the color and form? Only in the vision. In short, the total objective world is existing only in the sense organs. See how simple it is. Sense objects are gross, sense organs are subtle. See, wave is gross, ocean is subtle. Because wave is gross, it has birth, growth, modification, multiplicity, ultimately death. Ocean is not many, is one. It doesn't grow, it doesn't modify, it doesn't die. So between the ocean and the wave, who is real? The ocean that is real. Between the objective world and the sense organs, what is real? It is the sense organs are real. And if we control the sense organs, this objective world can have no impact on us. See, Chittam, unless we understand these points very clearly, our spiritual practice will be only mechanical thing. And anything you do mechanically, you cannot have joy in that. See, why the government servants are not inspired? Because they are leading a mechanical life. See, one of my friend in USA, he is a software expert, and he was with Microsoft and all that, he left that job. I said, hey, why did you leave? He said, Swamiji, I was becoming mechanical there, I lost interest. Then, now I have taken a new way that I take establishing anybody's business. That is the project I take. You tell me what you want. And I help you set your business fully, make it operational, and then leave it. My job is done. And in that, whatever I earn, it is more than enough for me. He said, that gives me challenges. That brings the best in me out. Otherwise, the same, like the teachers go to the school. Why the teachers are not inspired? Because the same notes, the same student, and the same thing, write A, B, or A, B, C. There is nothing charm in their life. See? But you will see the spiritual teachers, why they are inspired? Because their life is not mechanical. The same thing, those who are doing the japa mechanically, Anusha, there is no charm in their life. But when you are chanting the Lord's name, and while chanting the experience is happening, then you are no more living at the Prakriti level. You are no more repeating the mantra mechanically, but you are one with the truth. In this manner, Chittam Mantraha, We'll take some more aspect of this sutra in tomorrow's class also. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.